Welcome to the Judgment Free Zone. You've downloaded the Alcohol-Free Marriage and More podcast with Matt and Amy, recorded live from the cornfields of Central Illinois. Welcome to episode number 71 for December 11th, 2023.
Well, hello there, children. Welcome back to the Judgment Free Zone, the freak show that is your weekly freak show that is the Alcohol-Free Marriage and More podcast. I am Matt, along with the always lovely Coach Amy, whose reading skills aren't exactly on point this afternoon, but we'll look right past that. How are you, my love?
I am awesome.
You are awesome. This show will be brought to you by Coach Amy and her show note-taking abilities, so good luck with that, kids. Before you listen to that, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. That will help us out. Afterwards, you may change your mind, but we'll see.
Yeah, do it right now.
Do it right now while
just
you're happy.
Just do it right now. You know what?
Fresh
Just
in your mind.
Pause this. Get in there.
I don't even think you have to pause.
Oh, you don't? You just hit the button?
I think you can just
All right, just do it.
Click down there
Just
or
do it.
something.
Just do it.
And you know what, Amy? Every week when I produce the video part of this, which gets a fraction of the audio part, which is not to be surprising.
It's okay.
But I'm always like, is this really worth it? And then, of course, this week we get a comment, a new subscriber. I'm like, fine, we'll keep doing the video. So check out the YouTubes, kids. Alcohol-Free Marriage and More podcast on the YouTubes. Link's always down in the description if you're on the audio side.
We have gotten some nice feedback. I got a feedback from a gal who was just, saying that she enjoyed listening to us, and it was just
been helpful for her.
It was been helpful.
Yeah.
And then, those usually happen when I'm kind of like you. Why are we doing like this? We don't have to put out the YouTube version. We don't need to do that. But then
if it helps one person, remember, we have to remember that was our goal. If you can help one person.
You know what? And it is, and we are, and it's exciting that
it may only be one person, but we helped one. Okay, goodbye. Thank you. We helped one person.
But
anyway,
but it's the multiplication factor in all of this.
There you go. The ripples, as the movie Spirits. The ripples.
Ripples.
There you go. Yes.
If you guys haven't seen that, I would highly encourage you.
Spirited with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds on Apple TV.
It's just a fun. I will have to say, there are a few parts in here where I'm like, I will have to say that not age appropriate.
There, that is very true.
So you might want to. It's not PG-13, but
no, definitely PG though.
But yeah, close.
Yeah.
So if you have little kids,
and if you don't want to pay for Apple TV to watch it, you can just listen to the soundtrack on Spotify. So
yeah, the soundtrack is fun.
The soundtrack is very fun. But anyway, this is not the movie review podcast. So
it is not the movie review podcast.
Yes, but if you do,
that was fun. Oh, let's make fun of Amy. So
I cannot talk. Please download our updated guide, our Beyond Spirits 7 Tips for Starting Your AF Journey.
Yes.
Or may just be a helpful resource to update your AF journey. That's at joyontheotherside.com. You can sign up there. That would be awesome.
Yes, please do.
And speaking of Joy on the Other Side, Amy, this episode is brought to you by your AFS.
Alcohol-Free Spirit Experiment.
Starting again.
January 7th. I'm so excited about this. It is, this will be our second year. We did it 3 runs this last year.
Only 3? I thought you did 4.
Well, we did I would say, I guess technically there would have been 4. We had a group that just said, hey, can you keep going? And so we did, which was good.
Which speaks volumes of the program. Like you make it what the group
They wanted
needs
to stay with the group, and we do have people who are going to be coming back. But that's the awesomeness about it, is that there's people at different stages. So, we have people who really haven't taken that first 30 days yet, but they're learning and they're growing and they're getting ready. And then we have other people who have been doing it. And it's the one thing that I want to tell people is sometimes, yes, there are people who will have that spontaneous sobriety, but what they don't see with that, however, is that spontaneous sobriety has probably about 7 years behind them,
right,
of thinking, trying,
failing,
doing things on their own, learning and moving forward till they finally get to a point where like, oh yeah, this really helped make it all click and all fall together, fall into place. I shouldn't say, fall in together. Does that make sense?
Fall into place. Fall into place, I think is what you're trying to say. Yes.
Fall into place. And so, and we add in our beliefs in God, and it does make it different.
Yep.
So
Amy, is there a discount code right now?
There is a discount code
Where do I find that
until
discount code?
January 1st. You know what? You can go to thealcoholexperiment.com.
Is that what we did?
No.
No, that cannot be right.
Sorry, no.
The alcohol spirit? No, alcohol-free spirit.
Thealcoholfreespirit.com.
Do I need to...
Thealcoholfreespirit.com.
Let me look at that. That's actually a thing.
Thealcoholfreespirit.com.
.com.
That's it.
That is it.
That is it. Thealcoholfreespirit.com. Sorry, everybody. Maybe, Matt, we might do an edit there.
This is real, Amy.
It is real. So
speaking of video, then I had to edit it there too, and I don't want to do that.
That's true. We're not going to be
because you know why, Amy? Because I'm old.
Thealcoholfreespirit.com.
You can also get to jointhirside.com.
Yeah, just go to join
your
because at the top of my website, there's this big banner, big yellow banner.
Yeah,
click on it.
Stick to what you know.
$100 off. I'm telling you, it's worth it. The program is worth it. And you can go there as well. And if you scroll down on the actual page, there's a little video from Suzanne and I, and we would love to have you watch that and just learn more about it.
Testify, kids. Testify.
Also, if you are interested, we do have a mini course too. So you can... I'm not even going to try to even get that one
Lots
right.
of links down below.
We'll put that link in there for you. And then you can get a little taste of what it's like to go through a course with Coach Suzanne and I.
There you go.
And guess what happens this week?
I don't know what.
Happy birthday to you.
I heard this is the big one, they say.
Happy birthday to you.
We don't need to sing the whole thing. We'll get it.
You're turning 50.
50.
The big 50.
As Amy would say, finally, I'm turning 50. Because she is, those who don't keep score at home.
5.5 years of me waiting for you to finally be in the same decade as me.
It happens once and then a few more years from now.
If the video is getting shaky right now, it's because we have a dog on the...
Making a nest, yes.
Oh my gosh, I wish you could see
I may have to run some stabilization on that. But anyway, yes, I turned 50 this week. Because I turned 50, they have a concert coming to town. Not because
no, I think it is.
Yes, they heard about my birthday. Friday night, the 90s era concert. We got Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, who else is it? Sugar Hill Gang.
I can't wait.
Color Me Bad, some other ones. So yes, but it starts at 7:30. I'm like, know your audience, man. This thing needs to start at like 5 o'clock. 7:30. It won't get done till well past my bedtime.
I cannot wait.
I know, but
we have to order our stuff.
Yeah, if you want to do it, we do.
And we need to order our little 80. I mean, why did we get rid of everything?
Because I had that sweatsuit in the 90s. Yes.
The tracksuit that I remember throwing away 10 years ago when we moved into this house.
Nobody fought harder against the wind than we did in the 90s.
We did.
Coach Amy, is your advent calendar still available? Okay, so that's also at joyontheotherside.com if you want to get that.
Or you just go to advent.joyontheotherside.com. And the reason it's still available is because Advent season is this whole time, and there are different tips and things that you can use beyond Advent.
Well, right. It's an Advent calendar, but I think it's tips.
It's a lot of self-care tips and on there, pouring into yourself so that you can pour into others. I think that's what is really important.
Tip of 40 to your homie, kids.
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of tipping a 40 to your homies, but they don't make NA 40s. Interesting.
They don't need to make.
That's true. That's a lot of NA beer. Coach Amy, what is your drink of the week?
Mine is called Misty Cliff's Sauvignon Blanc.
It's very nice.
It is a very nice one, and
that's a new find at Benny's, I think, right?
It was, and it. I was surprised. I'm like, okay, we'll see, but very, very crisp, light, refreshing. But I want to also say, everyone, I have not had a real alcohol drink, glass of wine for 4 years.
Right.
It takes a little bit of time. Again, this is alcoholized wine, which does taste closer, but alcohol does have a flavor. So
Right.
it is going to taste different.
Correct.
So again, with the mindset work, it's if you think you're going to taste something that is going to taste exactly what you have left, it's
Right.
not.
Right.
So it's different. It's a different drink. And I enjoy it. And
After a while, you don't even notice.
yeah,
You really don't.
And now that I'm to the point where I'm like, oh, this is just a nice glass. And why shouldn't I have a nice glass of
Fancy drink, as we like to call it here. Yes. I don't know. Why aren't you? Why shouldn't you, Amy?
wine? I'm gonna
Careful,
gently.
that's a very
This is
gently-
This is a delicate piece of
Yes.
slimware that I will not break. Slam it down.
I have Go Brewing's, of course, Go Brewing, because that's our favorite. If you want to get a $5 discount on your first order, check the link below. Go Brewing's New School Sour. This is their holiday blend. And I forget what is blended in it. Oh, our Live and Run Dry Blend, pure, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It's got like cranberry and ginger, and I don't know. It's good. Other than the Santa Claus house or Claus house or whatever we had last week, there's not a lot of holiday beers. There were a ton of Oktoberfest.
I like this because I like that taste of the cranberry and the ginger. Is it cranberry?
yeah,
It's like a berry. And
Yeah.
I love ginger. I mean,
And I
love
when we
ginger.
did drink, I didn't like sour beers. They're just, some of them were just too sour. This is like a mild sour. I don't know if the alcohol plays into the sourness, but it is solid.
it's tasty.
It is tasty. I would give you that.
Tasty treat.
All right, Coach Amy. Well, on to the notes. You have some tips here, and we have some marriage and more things. We're going to get a little spicy here in a little bit. So just a fair warning coming up. This part is not so spicy.
Well, okay. What's been coming up recently is, and I know that this is something that came up for me, is that many people say, you know what, I don't have I can't say this for myself because I did kind of have issues when I would go out. I did have struggles going to events and different things, but I also struggled at home too.
Right.
So I guess I was
Most people who are
multifaceted.
struggling probably are most people are probably drinking at home. Not everybody, I'm sure.
But a
some
lot of
only.
people are like, no, I've got this part down. I've got the going to events, going to
Right.
friends. I have that. But when I go home,
I'm sitting at home on a random Wednesday night watching Jeopardy.
and then all of the stuff starts, like pouring into my brain, and I've got all the voices and everything is spinning. Like I just want to numb out.
Yep.
What do I do? Because and then it just goes down that hill. It's like, oh, well, I'm just going to grab my drink.
Well, because you get in the rut of coming home, pouring a drink, and sitting down, and not really doing much of anything. Maybe.
And yes,
or
but
putting the
you-
kids to bed, and then
but-
get in the rut of sitting down and pouring a drink.
or you just have that
sounds like
the ruminating thoughts.
yeah.
It's it's coming at you. It's coming
You want
at
to
you.
you want to hit that mute button
and
in
you're
your
like,
brain,
I just want that. I want to feel numb.
right?
So what do you do? I mean, that is something.
What do you do?
Well, I came up with, I really, this week, I've really been thinking a lot about it, trying to go back and really think to what I did in the beginning. I was very fortunate. You were very helpful in all of this, but the firm decision was a very big part of what I did.
What is the firm decision?
You'd make the decision in the morning, like today I'm not drinking. There are people who will call it, they'll say the pillow pledge, like I'm going to go to my bed.
Make it to my pillow. Yeah.
Make it to my pillow without having to drink, or I will not drink today with you, things like that. But
Right.
I would make this firm decision. And the reason that you want to make a firm decision is it really helps eliminate decision fatigue. And all through the day, you're making decisions over and over and over. And then by the end of the day, you're like, okay.
Well, you'll still have the decision fatigue, but you've already made this decision, so it shouldn't be.
Well,
helps.
It shouldn't. But the one thing that I've written down where I feel like there's a missing step to this, because people will still say, well, I've made the decision. I'm not going to drink. But what you have to do, you have to build up this mental fitness around this decision throughout the day.
Right.
You have to address it throughout the day and go, okay, I'm going to check in at 10 o'clock. you know what? I'm not going to have that drink this afternoon. I made this decision this morning. That decision has already been made.
Right.
I'm going to come back at lunchtime. You know what? Let's check in with myself. How's the day going? Oh, you know what? It is stressful. This is going on. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll have that drink after all. No. Tell yourself no. You already made that decision. It's that time where I was listening to Mel Robbins and she's like, you know what? Look, there's no parent here anymore.
Right.
So you've got to step up and be your own parent. You've got to have that adult voice come in and go, no, I'm going to tell my teenage self,
right.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Which is hard. It's like, I'm a grown-up.
It is hard. And then
I want to, I will.
Yeah, and then you have those I deserve things come in. But
I earn this.
I should, and so it's checking in with yourself and saying, no, I've made this decision. I'm not going to do this. Then the next thing I wanted to talk along with this is even maybe you get to the end of the day and you're like, you know what? I'm going to still have the drink. I'm going to do it. I want you then, the next step apart with this is I want you to go, all right, I can have that drink. However, I'm going to delay it. I'm going to delay that drink at least an hour and a half. Or maybe you start off, it's at least an hour.
Or whatever.
Yeah, let's just an hour.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do some other things. I'm going to figure out a different plan. You need to have some of these steps figured out too. Like, all right, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to replace the ingredients, keep the ritual, something. Yeah. And then I'll have it. Change your environment
for a minute and then see.
What? You might have to get out of the house.
Yep.
You might, you know what? I'm going to go and drive for 10 minutes. I'm just going to get in the car, or I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to change something.
Well, because some of that comes back into filling that void of that empty time. It's like, well, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything now because I'm not drinking, and drinking was the thing I was doing. Mm-hmm. So did you fill with or a hobby, a new hobby, or read a book, or change something about what you're doing?
Yeah.
Like if you just sit there doing the same thing, you're going to continue to ruminate. So get up, change your environment, shift your brain.
It might be, all right, I come in, I replace the ingredients, I make my little mocktail thing, right. I go clean out a drawer. I go and I organize a shelf in a closet. I do something that is going to stop what's going on in my mind. It's going to, stop. And then
that conversation anyway.
Yeah, stop that conversation. And then the other thing I want to touch on is there has to be a point where you say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the opposite of what my brain is wanting me to do.
Right.
And that, again, that plays into what we were just talking about. We're going to do something else because that spinning brain, it just wants, and it wants what it wants, but we have to shut it down. And I already referenced Mel Robbins, but, one of the things that she says in her book, The High Five Habit, is that you're like, I don't have time for this right now. You literally talk to your thoughts and go, you know what? I don't have time for this.
Yep.
Or, and I think I've heard her say this too, just shut up. I mean, and you know what? In our house was like, you don't tell anybody to shut. Yeah. I can tell my brain to shut up.
Right.
I can tell those thoughts. I don't have time for this right now. Shut up.
Right.
And that process, I just do with those ruminating thoughts that still come up at times. Like, no, I don't have time for this. Recognize it. This thought is not true. I don't have time for this. Shut up. And you might have to have that conversation for a little while with yourself, but just stopping it. And I'll say, this is something that, this is that concept of taking your thoughts captive. You have the control over your thoughts.
Right.
You can tell them to stop. And, if you don't, then your thoughts go into your feelings and then those become actions. And then the next thing you know, you're going and saying, oh, I'm just going to have a drink. No,
it's just a story that you build up in your own head.
You play it through.
Yep.
So, I want to just really encourage you that some days it'll work. Some days it might not.
Right.
But I want everyone to remember that this takes time. You have to build up mental fitness around this. You really do. You have to get your prefrontal cortex. You have to exercise it.
But some of this, I think, even helps if you have say you've quit or you're quitting and you have a spouse who still drinks. These techniques indirectly will help the spouse maybe drink less too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're sort of like take it or leave it or whatever. But because you're going to be looking for activities and things to do that aren't alcohol. And so they'll be like, oh, we're going to do this, then I won't have a drink. I'm going to do something else, right? Like when I was moderating, which I hate moderation, but that's a whole nother topic. When I was moderating and you were not drinking, those tactics would make me drink less. Because like you'd be like, hey, let's go do something. Like you'd want to go for a walk or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, well then I'm not drinking because I'm going to go do these activities. So
or let's go at 9 o'clock at night because we can drive somewhere.
Well,
and pick out some Christmas decorations. Along a story we did. But the other thing I want to let you know is that, some days it's going to work. It might not on other days, but don't give up. Ever. Don't give up. Just say, okay, you know what? If the day before you had a misstep, you had a data point, you just say, okay, today I'm going to do better.
Amy's Journey would say, don't stop believing, kids. Don't stop believing.
Oh, so if you need more tips and if you want to talk, reach out to me, just amy@joyontheotherside.com, or you can go, follow me on social media, reach out. I am available. I promise, just having someone that you can reach out to.
Yep.
That is the key.
That is key. Need a buddy. Accountability buddy.
You need some accountability.
Accountability buddy always works out, kids. Always helps out, excuse me. Okay, Amy, fair warning, it's going to get a little spicy in here. I wish I had a little...
brown chicken, brown cow music for us. Oh, I didn't bring the book. Oh, well. We'll have to... We'll... Do
you remember what it's called? Between the Sheets?
Sheet music.
Sheet music, yes. So the book is called Sheet Music.
By Dr. Kevin Lehman.
Wow, you are on top of your book reports here, lady. Yeah. Sheet Music, Dr. Kevin Lehman, you're right. Uncovering the secrets of sexual intimacy in marriage. So it's like it's actually a decent reference book. I actually read it, and I don't tend to read books, but
I want to say I haven't read any of it yet. I haven't even opened up the book. The book came, you stole it.
Well, when you're married for a certain amount of time, we've been married almost 25 years. 25 years next year, actually. Yeah. So it's 24 years. That would be 24 years now. But anyway.
1999, baby.
You're looking for ways to change things up, spice things up, get a little, out of that proverbial rut, So I bought the book, and is this a story I'm supposed to be telling? I'm reading your notes about the Kindle market, and I'm like, well, this has nothing to do with the Kindle market.
No, that's not this. I said our story. We're going to talk about spicing up. Just don't read my notes.
Okay, don't read your notes. Say once again, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, so I get the book. I'm reading it. I'm like, okay, well, this is fun and interesting and blah 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 blah. But there was one part I was like, it talks about positions, and some of them. Great. Okay, so you have like the Kama Sutra, right? So this is like not the Kama Sutra. Like it's
this is not that.
No, and the positions are mostly things you are probably familiar with. But there was this one. I don't even know what it was called again. But
we should have prefaced this.
Please
I did. Turn this off if you have.
I said this is the spicy PG part. But there's this one in the book, and I'm like reading it, and it's reading like stereo instructions. I'm like, wait, if this leg is there and that, I'm like, there's too many legs here. I think. I'm like, wait, if that leg's there, that one can't go on top of that. I'm like, what?
And if you're watching this and the puzzled look on his face,
what? Well, it was because
it just gets worse.
No, because so I'm like, all right, Aim, come here.
So we're fully clothed.
Fully clothed. We're in the middle of the living room, fully clothed. But this is what you do when you're an empty nester. Hey, okay, let's try. I'm like, I said, I just need to work this.
Let's walk through.
I need to write the. Okay,
let's see if this is even
like doing a math problem on paper. Like, all right, hold on, come here. We have to like model this. If you want to laugh, just do that. I mean, the book is worth the money just for the laugh that we got. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, your leg's here. And like, I'm reading the directions. I'm like, what am I, 14, and like reading the directions, and I'm like, got the leg. I'm like, what? And I don't even think we even. I'm like, all right, I think our legs are correct, but this,
And by this point, we're both just laughing.
Up. Yeah.
And so maybe that is a part of this. Maybe we don't even know.
Right.
Maybe this is something that doesn't work.
Maybe it's like
because I have not personally met him, but I have been at some of his conferences that he has spoke at, and he is a very funny man. So maybe this was a joke he inserted into the book.
Yeah, here's the special secret one that you'll never be able to figure out because it's mathematically impossible to contort your body. And so maybe it's for the younger generation. I don't know.
However, I think we came to the conclusion that some things work well.
Well, I think what I came to is you start changing too much, then it becomes too comical. And you add you put too many new spices in it. It's like, you know what? I like the original Coke. You change the recipe too much, and it's like
KFC extra crispy or the original recipe.
It's like it's good, but it's like I just kind of like the original. Plus, I understood the directions. So, but if you're looking for some ideas and some, there are some thoughtful things and some good things for the guys. Hey, you know what,
Well, you brought up something I thought was really nice, and I don't know if this came from the book or whatever, but you came up the other day and you said, "Did you notice yesterday?" And I'm gonna have to say, yes, I did notice. I was kind of like, "What is he doing?" But you made a concerted effort. You had a goal. I don't know if you hit your goal, but it was
I don't think I did.
I'm going to...
Because I get shiny about noon and then forget, so.
But I'm going to try to...
As Amy likes to call it, non-physical touch. In our marriage training, there's non-sexual touch. So it's just like a hug or, a tap on the shoulder. Amy calls it non-physical touch, which doesn't work. So I said I had the goal of 10 non-sexual touches
for the day.
Yes.
And I did notice. Now you came up, you gave me just a kiss, you hugged me, you kind of held my hand a little bit. It was nice, but you were on a roll there. You were coming up. I don't know if maybe it was every hour on the hour or something, but
10 times in a day, it almost has to be once an hour.
True. And so
it
was
bed at 7 o'clock. So
it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. It was like, what is going on? But yes, I did notice.
Which is interesting because will she be suspicious? What's wrong
I wasn't suspicious of anything. No, I just think I was aware, and I have to say I didn't even think he's he's
I'm trying
to maneuver tonight or something.
I'm just trying to increase that.
But it was
non-physical touch.
It was very sweet.
See? I don't know if that was in the book.
And I think for me, I think I need to do, I don't know what I need to do. What do you need for me to do?
More non-physical touch. Well, I think something in the book about was to the point, and this is for men and women, that you can't just show up to the bedroom and be like, okay, we're here for this. Now, it's a task on your checklist.
No,
it's intimacy is something you build up through the day.
Yes.
Right. And I will say a lot of people use alcohol as that social lubricant,
for the bedroom.
And a lot of people get worried oh, I don't know about the bed. And,
oh yeah.
And I will say, things change. Yes. But for the different, but better, I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh, absolutely. For the better. No. Absolutely.
No.
You have to get through that awkward.
There is a bit of that.
The firsts, that is a first for many people is having, that was a weird noise.
That's a weird noise, sorry.
Having sex, not under the influence. And
it all comes back to communication, kids.
It is. And
that's another thing we've learned through the marriage coaching that we'll bring to you more of the communication, having those, not hard conversations, but just having more meaningful conversations,
connecting conversations. Yes. But also for the two of us is you do need to schedule in sex each week. I mean, it is important.
Especially when you have little ones in the house.
But just in general, I mean, even for us, we are so busy with different things. We are empty nesters now, and we don't want to be just roommates.
Right.
And so it is that.
And if you leave things to the end of the day, well, it's like,
but if you're like, okay, well, let's schedule this in. And again, not that it's on your to-do list.
Right.
But like you were saying, it's like, oh, you know what? It's Thursday. You know, this is Wednesday. All right, well, Thursday night. Well, I need to start connecting more, just being more present with each other too.
Right,
I think that's really important. But even on that Thursday, if that's the day, you know, texting each other, talking to each other about it, you know, like, you know, having fun with it.
Right.
I think that's something for a lot of people that's missing. And
there's like
it's supposed to be
date night
fun.
dice, those date night dice that we saw today.
I know. I think we're gonna get
Or
some.
was it like
maybe we should order 2 and give one away.
I think it was like 4 dice is what it is, and then
It was it was a date night thing. It was really fun.
Not granted, you only have so many combinations because there's only like 4 dice. There's 4 categories, and a dice has 6 sides to it. So, but there's one die is for what to eat, what to do after that, and then sexy time. So like, get coffee, learn something new, play with food after that. That's weird, and then sexy time, go somewhere new, right? So, and there looks to be a bonus dice that I won't talk about on the podcast. But it's those type of things. Like I interject, to your point, like the texting, or you know, there's apps that you can. I've made you do these two, what she loves. It's like, here's like all these like ideas, you know, new adventurous ideas, and it's kind of like Tinder for married couples. So we each look at all the ideas, we each say yay, nay, or maybe.
We're not giving you any of these sites because some of them were not appropriate.
Well, and some of them were not good.
And
either.
I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, but there are those things where, and then it's like, okay, well, if we both agree that we like this idea, then we can talk about it. If neither one of us match, and then nobody talks about it. It makes it easier to have those difficult conversations.
True. But I think also just like creating conversations. Now I'm just going to, the things that we can do is with a couple, like when you're going to have that date night as well, you know, there's conversation starters. There's things that you can talk about. Like tonight, let's have almost theming your date. Not like, let's talk about when we were kids and it was in the winter and what we did. And let's just share those experiences with each other. Like, okay,
I'm cracking up because you had this excited look and smile on your face. Let's talk about that. And I'm sitting here going, wait, we don't have to talk about that right now, do we? Because I really don't want to.
Thanks. Can we have a safe conversation now about that? No.
That's one idea.
What's your favorite? You know, I'm just gonna here's some conversation starters just to help. You know, when you're in that,
we got those. What were those cards that we had on our one road trip to Galena? Remember? We probably lost them when we bought the new car, but remember, and it was just
we got in a car accident.
Yeah, but no, not on that trip though. But no, remember the cards, and it was just like it was some of these type of conversations.
You know, what was your favorite childhood winter memory? What are you most looking forward to this winter? And most people are nothing. You know. If we could have any winter superpower, what would it be?
Well, what is a winter superpower?
Wonder Twin powers, buddy. Come on.
That's just
if you could have something like a winter.
What would be a winter? Tell me what a winter. Yes, let's have this conversation. What would be a winter? What, like I can create ice cubes, or I could thaw them.
That would be so cool. No, like I am going to be. Was it
Frozone?
Frozone. I'm going to be Frozone, and I am.
That is the winter superpower. I'm trying to think like other winter superpowers.
I'm going to be able to, out of my fingertips is going to be ice that comes out, and I am going to be skating around everywhere.
Agreed.
And then I'll be falling down because I have no balance, so I would not.
But what is another winter superpower? Thank you.
Yes,
that's a short conversation starter.
I'm going to create a winter storm. A winter storm.
Ooh, okay.
A winter storm is coming in, and we are going to shut down the state. Everyone hates me now.
Okay, that's the most unpopular superhero ever.
Only our block.
Okay. Very localized storm. I can't come to work.
It's very localized. Okay, I don't know, but there's just different things. So you create like a theme and just, you can even Google questions to talk to your spouse
Like I said,
about.
that deck of cards we got.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with those are a little. Anytime you get any of those tools, just like the book, just like a deck of cards, or there's always going to be an aspect of it that doesn't really align to your relationship, your personality. You just skip over them and move on to the next
Well,
one.
exactly.
But it also is a good activity to enhance your relationship, and it's an activity to fill in the blank when you're not drinking.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That I think is a big thing. Is let's have a conversation instead of sitting together in our 2 chairs with our drinks, watching a movie, spacing out,
Right.
zoning out.
Which I do enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that from time to time. But if the problem becomes when that becomes.
It was habitual.
Yes.
It was habitual.
When we were drinking.
And I even
especially.
notice it still today that it does at times. We're like, oh, okay, we're falling back into this.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Hey,
Let's
in our
get
defense,
up.
we have very comfortable chairs. So.
We do have comfortable chairs, honey.
What is this last line, Amy, about an awesome marriage? Are you ready for our holiday spirit with your spouse?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't know.
Are you ready?
I'm still trying to figure out what winter superpower I want to have.
Well, anyways, these conversation starters, if you want to get more ideas for your marriage, it's at awesome_marriage. You can find them on Instagram. And so I was just kind of going out there again, doing some show note.
Show noting it, Amy. Show noting it.
Show noting it.
Well, and funny little note for you listeners. One of our listeners from time to time is our son. So he'll enjoy the midsection of this podcast for sure.
Sorry, bud.
He's not listening anymore. I guarantee. Turn it off now.
I don't know. He might think it's pretty funny.
Well, there you go. Well, how do you think you got in this world, kid? Just saying. It's the truth, kids. All right. Hey, don't forget, check out the link for Go Brewing to get that $5 off your first order. Check out Amy at joyontheotherside.com. She's always there to be the coach with the most, help you out on whenever you need help. The alcohol-free spirit coming out in January 7th. Start and get that discount at alcohol. What was it like?
Stop.
Just go to jointheotherside.com and click the link there. Everything's at jointheotherside.com. That's what we do now.
It's all there.
And if you're listening, check out the YouTubes. If you're on the YouTubes, check out the audio on the Spotify Wrapped. Gave us some fun stats. So you people are out there, you are listening.
You are listening.
You are listening.
Thank you for listening.
Lucky for
They're
you.
not listening
Luckily
anymore.
for you, you're listening to the end.
You know what they're saying? Oh my gosh. Just
Stop
end it
talking.
now. End it.
And on that note, wishing you peace and love from the cornfields, I am Matt along with Coach Amy, and we are
Out.